Good morning. Fatigue and lack of motivation is a very, very real thing. And today I'm here to share with you how I manage to push through when I just don't feel like showing up, when, every excuse in my head is running around in my head to tell me not to do something. And I've been in yoga long enough now to know that that's a top-down approach. So it's my mind telling my body that I just don't need to show up, and it makes some great excuses for the reasons not to show up. So I guess I'm here to start with changing that top-down approach and really defying that negative talk that's going on in your head to help start to turn that around. And quite often what I find is making a physical change to support you moving through that space of fatigue and not wanting to show up. So the biggest and best thing you can do for yourself, which will take 1 minute of your time, is just for a moment switch off that internal talk, go and grab your mat, and just the process of rolling your mat out for your practice, maybe standing on your mat, maybe sitting on your mat, maybe just taking a moment to befriend your mat. You don't even really know or need to know what you have to do on your mat. Just the actual action of rolling out the mat, setting a space, closing a door, spending time for yourself. This is yoga. This is yoga when you can just take some time to nourish your mind, to nourish your body. So now that I have the mat out, and I hope you're here with me, let's just move through some really soft, gentle, maybe 5 poses that I recommend that will help support you just to be on your mat and just to move. They don't have to be big, flowy movements. They don't have to be an hour session. They can just be 5, 10, 15 minutes. So I'd like to start the practice this morning by just opening our hips to a degree. So what you will need for this practice is maybe a blanket that you can prop your hips up on. The higher the better. Nice place to start is seated. So with your hips propped up, you might just shuffle the hips from side to side. Maybe remove the skin, or not remove it physically, but just part the skin of your sit bones so you can feel your connection to the ground. And then hopefully you can see my feet, but we're pressing the soles of the feet together firmly and just letting your legs drop out to the side. This is called bound angle or butterfly pose or Baddha Konasana. So press the feet together. If that's too much for your inner groin to start with, then you can grab some sort of prop and just settle it in underneath your legs so that your legs feel supported. And just take a moment to be with you. Take a moment to maybe shut down your eyes, to maybe just become really familiar with your breath. And just acknowledge that this is you having moved through some of your fatigue, through some of that internal chatter as to why not to be here today. So just acknowledge the fact that you have arrived, that you are doing this, that you are pushing through this, that you are investing time and energy in yourself to be here. And as I said, it doesn't have to be a long time. You might just choose to move through this component of the practice with me. And then tomorrow you might choose to move this component with another add-on. So just be gentle with yourself in that process. Just sit here with your breath. Don't feel like you have to strive to change your breath in any way. Just notice how your breath naturally moves in and out of you. How it fills the space in your body. How it empties, and softens, and settles you back in on your exhale. And thank yourself just for being here. And then you might choose just to stay here and experience this pose in this static form. Or you could even start to move slightly with your breath, maybe creating just gentle circles, isolating your ribs in a circular direction, out and over your hips. Start to feel and start to notice what it feels like to move with your breath. And just to move in general. And you could change the direction of that isolation of the ribs. I used to think that yoga had to be this big, grand performance of all these amazing athletic poses, but it's not that at all. The more you strip it back to its simplicity, the more you really start to value yourself. Just take a couple more breaths here. And then if you soften your eyelids and close your eyes, feel free to open them, feel free to keep them closed, feel free to stay here and continue to explore this. But if you'd like to move on with me, take the hands onto the outside of your knees, draw your knees in together, press your feet firmly into the ground below you. Give your front shins a big hug. If you feel to, you might let your head lower in towards the knees and just gently rock from side to side, feeling your weight transfer, knowing that this is yoga as well. Just little elements of movement, mindfulness, of awareness. And you might notice that now you've started adding gentle movement to your body, that you're somehow starting to work from this bottom-up approach now. Recognize that you're here, you're moving, and how that affects your mind. It affects it in a much more positive way once we do the opposite of what we're actually feeling. All right, let's take that one step further. Let's move to form number 2, and it's a forward fold. So typically a forward fold will have your legs extended, will have your feet out in front of you, your toes are drawing back, you're pushing through your shins. Now, depending on the tension that you feel in the back of your legs, will depend on the modifications that you need to do for yourself. So if you're particularly tight in the back of the legs, grab some sort of prop, place it below the knees, and this will bring your thighs closer towards your torso as you start to move in towards the pose. And then it's always a process of moving with your breath. So think of your inhale as extending and lengthening through your spine. And then allow your exhale to be your softening component. And as you soften, you might find that you've got maybe just a little bit more space to move into. And just play around with some small movements in and out of that pose to notice and be aware of what you feel. So you can keep on working that component of the pose. Another really nice way to support that pose is with a prop. So today, here's something I prepared earlier. Today, I have a chair. And all that chair is going to provide for me is possibly a knee rest to take that tension out of the back of my legs, but better still, a place where I can come to rest my forehead. So here I just like to stack my forearms one on top of the other, and then it may take some readjustment of the chair to just let your head rest on your forearms. And again, it's not an overly complex pose, but nevertheless, it's yoga. It's you still moving forward. It's you defying the lack of motivation. It's you defying fatigue. And any opportunity where you can find your way back to your breath. Any opportunity where you can really settle into your body and start to notice how that affects your mind is a great practice. So again, just watch the flow of your natural breath. And let yourself experience this for as long as you need to, for as long as it keeps you in this practice, for as long as it supports you. And there's always that challenge of that mental dialogue creeping in to tell you that, to speak to you negatively. So the more practice you can do around listening to that dialogue without responding to it, just acknowledging that that is part of your dialogue, the more, the more you become to know and understand yourself and how your mind works to limit you in what you experience. So if you're staying here to experience this shape and this form here, stay for as long as you need. Otherwise, move with me onto yoga form number 3. These can be done in any order. These can be done individually. These can be done to suit your body. So for the purpose of this one, just have your blanket on standby. And just a lovely little flow before we move into the next yoga form is just to move the spine through a series of cat-cows. And all that is an in-breath that opens the front of your body towards the ground, opens the chest and heart space. And with each exhale, It's an invitation to open your back body by pressing your spine up towards the ceiling and rounding and tucking your chin in. Just move with your breath. In, pausing briefly and out. Moving in with the breath. Moving out with the breath. Two more with me. Breathing out. Fill the space in the front of your body with an in-breath. Fill the space of your back body with an out-breath. And then draw your blanket so it sits, when you're on all fours, so it sits somewhere below your rib region. Check the positioning of your body, so your knees are below your hips, your hands are slightly in front of your shoulder line, like you see in the video here. And then as you inhale, you want to shift your body weight forward, so your shoulders move out over your wrists. And then lower your thighs towards the ground, your hips towards the ground, your navel and your ribs. Rest your forehead for just a moment. And here's a great opportunity again to feel your breath maybe in a slightly different way. So as you breathe in, use the support or the prop of the blanket to just notice how your breath moves. And there's this space just at the bottom of your ribs, kind of in between your ribs. It separates your upper torso and your lower torso. And it's a big muscle, a big breathing muscle called your diaphragm. So bring your awareness and just see, sense or feel, you don't have to know the anatomy here, of that big muscle perhaps as you inhale, expanding or pushing into the blanket or the surface below you. You might even feel that into your belly as well, as that muscle presses all the lower organs down into the belly. And then as you exhale, feel everything release. Start to really befriend your breath. Take 3 more breaths here and just notice. And then press the tops of your feet into the mat. Place your feet so they're about hip distance apart. Bring your hands down alongside your ribs. Broaden or stretch through the fingers. Draw your elbows up towards the ceiling. And on your inhale, press down firmly into your feet. Start to lift through the chest. So the purpose of the blanket below us is just to expand and open this back bend. So if you need to make any little adjustments so it feels more comfortable to you, shuffle back or forward down your blanket. Keep the legs super active, and to a degree you're really just feeling into the back muscles that are working here. So take your hands or hover them just off the mat. Take a few breaths and just find that space where you feel supported. Such a lovely way of moving through fatigue can sometimes be just opening your chest. Create an expansion. Take a few more breaths here, and when you're ready, lower to the ground. Take a breather. Take a moment to notice the effect of how an open heart and open chest can create more feelings of openness and expansion. And then as you're ready, you might like to move into a second variation. And try this one with your chin tucked slightly in towards the collarbone, reaching through the crown of your head. Again, you can try different variations of the hands by lifting them, extending them back behind you, changing the orientation, pushing your hands up towards the ceiling. Get creative here. Do what feels right in your body. And again, listen to your body. So each moment you feel that that's enough. Let yourself rest. Move through that once or twice more, or as much as you feel inclined to do so. Or move with me now into a counter pose of that. So come to your knees, bring your feet together, take your knees comfortably apart, and then slowly draw yourself back towards the blanket. Let your head rest here. This is child's pose. It's supposed to feel completely restorative. If you have any knee issues here at all, then I do suggest that you take your blanket, place it just in between your heels and your sit bones, and then experience it. Again, if your knees are sensitive, you could opt to come up on your forearms or rest down. Find a place that supports you. And take half a dozen or so breaths here. Feeling where the breath moves for you. And acknowledging once again in a positive way that you are still here. You are still moving through that negative tendency to not be here. You've got this. If you're moving with me, remove your blanket prop. Come to settle again on your hands and your knees. Feel the security of the ground below you through your hands and your knees. Tuck your toes under. We're shifting to downward facing dog now. So press firmly down into your hands and feet. Lift and elevate your sit bones up towards the ceiling. Remembering to accommodate any tension you feel here. The more the knees are bent, the less you will feel that tension. And just know that this is quite a strong pose in the shoulders. So just stay here for whatever time you're comfortable to. And if you need to come out, come out. Take some time to experience that space that you've decided to meet yourself. And then if you feel ready to, join me again. Wherever you are, stay connected to your breath. And on your next in-breath, shift your body weight forward again so your shoulders come out over your wrists. Lower your knees to the ground. This is a modified variation of plank. Lower your thighs, your hips, your belly, your ribs. Nourishing in that movement, just alone to get there. Position your arms where they're comfortable. Position your head where it's comfortable. And give yourself the gratitude that you deserve for just arriving here, for doing whatever component of this session that you've chosen to move through with me. knowing that this is the first step. This is that first step to moving through fatigue, to moving through the lack of motivation to want to be here. So give yourself the thanks that you deserve. I'm so thrilled that you've joined me. Thank you. My name is Anita. I'm from Yoga on the Road, and I hope to see you again soon.